Well, other news at this hour, the Tshwane Multiparty Coalition is facing an uncertain future about a fall-on over the ongoing labour dispute that has severely crippled service delivery, especially in townships. A large group of EFF and SAMWU members gathered until late last night outside Tshwane House, under heavy police guard to put pressure on the mayor to pay workers their salary increases. On that note, let's bring in SABC News reporter Patricia Visagie for more. Patricia, good afternoon. Perhaps you could bring us the latest on your end. What's really emerging? We obviously saw what transpired yesterday. Walk us through that. Really, what are we expecting today as well?
Well, at the center of what's happening today is the political fallout between the DA and ActionSA. Of course, the party ActionSA yesterday surprised the multi-party coalition when they brought an unexpected motion, obviously making a U-turn to the original agreement of a 0% increase on salaries for this year and moving forward until, of course, the finances of the city have stabilized. But ActionSA made a U-turn and they're ultimately bringing a motion to compel the Tshwane mayor to reopen up discussions with organized labor, but also to ultimately pay the workers. That led to a political fallout, the DA calling ActionSA backstabbers, and that ultimately affects the stability of the coalition. It also affects the position of the mayor, ultimately meaning that his future hangs in the balance. After a long struggle of trying to get ActionSA to come and just clarify what is this motion and why did they make the U-turn and why did they run away yesterday, because that's how it seems. Of course, Afunzi Ngobeni joins me right now. It's been a long day and we had to fight hard to get you. And obviously, it's just to have you explain what is happening. We're hearing that you are backstabbers. They're calling you Mamenemen. There's so many names. Judas. What's happening? Why are you fighting? And is it stable? Is it taking?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Pat. And I'm sorry that we had to make you run. But yeah, there are other things that we're busy dealing with. Look, I mean, I think the DA can use any kind of insult towards us and say all kinds of things. The truth is that we have been saying, even before yesterday's meeting, that we want the mayor to consider sitting down with unions and finding a way of resolving the strike. It's been going on for 3 months. Communities are suffering. Grass is not cut, rubbish is not collected. Sewage is running on the streets. We did an oversight in Mamelodi and in Soshanguve. And we also went towards 64 here in Royeskral, and a lot of service delivery failures that you can see, you know, that is caused by this strike. So we are just asking the mayor, and that's what the motion was about. It's compelling the mayor to go and negotiate with labor. And the motion is not saying the mayor must accept the demand as it is, because again, characterizing it as a demand, maybe it's wrong, because this is a 3-year agreement that was signed in 2021. The first year of that agreement, workers had to get 3.5%. That agreement for 2021 was not implemented. What the DA then did, they went through the same process. They went to the bargaining council. The bargaining council kicked them out and said, go and pay the workers. But they then took the matter to the labor court. That matter of a 3.5% is still sitting in court. 2022, 2023, the DA-led government year paid workers. Now the new year, 2023, 2024, workers need to get 5.6%. What the DA is doing is going the same route of the first year. They went to the bargaining council. They have lost. And the bargaining council said, go and pay the workers. And they want to take the matter to the labor court. You know, and we don't have a problem with exercising your right as a city. But we are coalition partners in Tshwane. We are not bystanders. We are not capping them here. We are partners, and we need to be consulted on such things. So
were you not consulted?
They took a decision to go to the labor court without consulting us, you know. And when we asked, we are giving all kinds of reasons. But the motion is basically saying, we are asking you to come to the table and negotiate with the workers. Let's find a middle ground. We do know that the city is in a precarious position financially. The workers know that as well. What they are asking is that let's sit around the table, let's find a way of maybe we can be able to accommodate certain level of workers, and then we can consider others maybe in the new financial year and so forth. But they can only hear that if they go to the negotiation table.
But the DA is saying that you are betraying a standing agreement within the multi-party coalition. You're making a U-turn. They're calling it cheap political scoring for your own gain, and obviously seeing opportunities where it can compromise the coalition. What are you saying? Is that not what ActionSA is doing currently?
They probably have not been to Mamelodi. They probably have not been to Soshanguve. They probably have not been to communities that, as I'm talking to you now, sewage is running into their yard. They probably have not heard the desperate call by residents across the city. When power is down, it takes almost 6 hours.
But you also voted for a 0% increase despite the warnings from civil society and the unions that this is going to end badly. You voted with them.
Look, I mean, I think the mistakes were done probably, but there's an opportunity to rectify whatever mistakes were done, you know. There's an adjustment budget coming now in February. You know, we can be able to sit down with union to find a way to say there was, and by the way, this same budget that you are talking about, it talks about a 6% income increase in this new financial year. The city has put a plan together that will assist them to recover from the previous year income expenditure deficit that was there. And that budget says that we will be able to get more than 6%. So when we ask to say, but we will be able to make more money, that's the projections that the budget is making. Then we are told that we want to have a surplus.
You're also looking for a position. There's a deputy mayor position that is now created to soothe your relationship within the multi-party coalition. This is done while the city does not have money to pay the workers. Is that not rather, you know, I don't know, compromising residents so that you can have a comfortable political position?
Let's put it into perspective. When we signed an agreement with the DA, there's a number of items that we signed about. One of those items was to say there will be a deputy mayor in Tshwane, in Johannesburg, in Ekurhuleni. That was signed when we signed an agreement, so it's not a new thing. So the report is coming to council to start the process of ensuring that we get this new deputy mayor to be established in the city of Tshwane. That will not happen in this financial year. It will take time. This report is to establish the process to start.
Even if it happens in the next 10 years, all the municipalities are going through serious financial constraints.
Yeah.
Why create more executive positions that require millions per annum instead of actually trimming the fat to ensure that you safeguard the public purse? Should that not be in line with actually stabilizing the finances? That is to trim the executive.
No, absolutely. And our focus on stabilizing the finances will always be there. We see the need of a deputy mayor in a coalition agreement so that we can be able to co-govern.
So it's more about your political interests over the needs of the people on the ground. It's more about you than it is about the residents.
No. I'm explaining that we see the need of that position because we are dealing with service delivery issues in Tshwane and everywhere. The mayor alone will not be able to attend to all these things. And the deputy mayor is not a new thing in local government municipalities. We've got it in eThekwini, we've got it in other municipalities. So we are putting the interest of the residents ahead of any political experiences. We are saying this thing was agreed, but it's not going to happen while the financial position of the city is still where it is. We are saying let's start with the process now. It might take a year, it might take 2 years, but we need to start with the process. So that's the reason why we brought that report yesterday.
All right, thank you so much there, Funzi Ngobeni. He is the ActionSA Gauteng chairperson, of course, facing a lot of controversy and heat following their U-turn that they have made not to support the no salary increases here in the city of Tshwane, ultimately forcing the Tshwane mayor to change his mind and pay the workers, that leading to a fallout. We're seeing the cracks in the multi-party coalition. We also see the ACDP that has also made a U-turn, and that ultimately threatening the future of Tshwane Mayor Celia Brink. opposition parties accusing ActionSA of using the plight of the workers for cheap political scoring, as the party is gunning for a new position in the Tshwane Metro, and that is of deputy mayor. That time, the city does not have money to pay the workers. Of course, we toss it back to studio.
All right, thanks, Patricia, for that update. We'll monitor developments on your end. Patricia, bring us the latest there regarding the Tshwane municipal strike. Let's take a look at other news now at the South, where Zoleka Mandela has been described as a woman who was the epitome of strength, courage and bravery, even when she was struggling with her health. Zoleka was the daughter of Zindiziwe Mandela, as well as granddaughter of anti-apartheid icons Nelson Mandela and Winnie Madikizela Mandela. The 43-year-old has been laid to rest at the Fourways Memorial Park in Johannesburg. Close family and friends turned out in their numbers to pay their last respects. Zoleka succumbed to cancer on Monday at the age of 43.